Since its premiere in 2020, Bridgerton has become a bombshell success as one of the most watched series on Netflix. It's now sparked a new prequel spin-off series, Queen Charlotte, focusing on the early life of a fan favorite character. And the creator behind this new show has a long list of hit series under her belt, including Grey's Anatomy and, of course, Scandal. In tonight's Streamlined, we talked to acclaimed showrunner Shonda Rhimes about what she calls her dream project.
Why me?
Charlotte, but there are worse fates than marrying the King of England.
It is time we were united as a society.
My life as queen was difficult.
Hello, Charlotte.
Your Majesty.
To you, I'm George.
Why start the prequel series with Queen Charlotte?
I really loved that character. I mean, I'd watched the character in Bridgerton. I'd watch what Golda would do with that character, and I thought she's fascinating. She's so interesting. And she's got a hole in her life that we're not seeing in Bridgerton because she's sort of the front-facing version of her. Plus, her marriage. You know, obviously, she had a great love story. She's been married to this man for, I think, 60 years their marriage lasted in real life. And there were clearly troubles, yet she truly loved him. They seemed to be sort of staying together, not for small reasons. And I wanted to play that out. And I also wanted to see this woman come into her power. That was interesting to me.
Take Charlotte to the seamstress so we can have her gown fitted.
Oh, no need. I brought my wedding gown. It is quite a perfect fit.
But we have provided a gown for you.
My gown was designed just for the wedding in Paris. The lace is handmade by nuns. The modiste called it à la mode.
I'm curious how much of the bones of this you went into the archives to really research, to have some kind of historical accuracy.
We worked really hard on that in a lot of ways. Did a ton of research. I actually got to visit Kew, where King George lived. And I got to work with this amazing, amazing historian, Polly Putnam, who was really an expert on this topic. And we talked about all the things that were real and that you'd want to see. And then we talked about all the things that we could mess with. You know, there were some fixed points I felt like we couldn't mess with, but other than that, I wanted the essence of the characters. I wasn't trying to tell them. And by the way, this is not the history of Queen Charlotte, you know, the real Queen Charlotte. It's the history of the Queen Charlotte that we know from the Bridgerton world. So different.
But with the real Queen Charlotte, I mean, historians have long tried to say she really wasn't black, or there's been a question. I'm curious how much of this was born out of your own intrigue about the real Queen Charlotte and her heritage.
Well, I mean, we definitely talked about it when we added her as a character in the Bridgerton universe. It felt important, and we talked about the fact that there are some historians who think she was. There's a lot of historians who spend an excess amount of energy trying to say she wasn't. And what would it be like if she was just the woman that we think she is?
Be careful. You are the first of your kind. You must secure your position. Your Majesty, your focus should be your country. You are our queen.
When did you realize, I really have something? I mean, because you create shows, movies that the world starts talking about. And so I'm curious, I guess it's in two parts, like what's the secret sauce of that? And when did you realize, people really like what I do?
I think for me, I just was writing characters I wanted to see. I was writing stories I wanted to see. I wasn't necessarily trying to grab an audience. I was like, I know what I'm not seeing on TV and I know what I want to see on TV. So for me, I don't know. I don't know if it ever truly sunk in until I was being inducted to the Television Academy Hall of Fame. That was such a freakish moment for me to think like, oh wait, maybe I can relax a little bit.
You have talked before about how the men you create are aspirational, and so much so that it's the reason that you'll never get married. Explain that, what you mean by that.
I think we try to create men that are the kind of men women wish existed. That's not to say that those men don't actually exist. It's just I haven't met them yet. But I feel like we want to create men who are three-dimensional, but who treat women the way they should be treated. And if they're not treating women the way they should be treated, we understand that that's not the way.
You and me.
You and me.
Congratulations on the BAFTA Special Award. Has the success sunk in, and the fact that you're really at the forefront of changing cultural norms potentially in society through the shows that we watch?
I don't know that that can ever sink in. I mean, it's large. It's a big thing to hold. So I think I'm still absorbing it all.
Tell us what you're doing behind the scenes with the crews, for example, because we know that you've long been responsible for diversity inclusion in front of the camera, but also like the Ladder program, for example.
We created some initiatives when we got to London and discovered that there wasn't a lot of diversity in the crew. And we felt strongly, all of us as a team at Shonda Rhimes felt strongly that we had to make that happen in some way. So we created this program called the Ladder, which basically takes people and trains them, pays them to learn on set while we're shooting, and then a lot of those people then go off to get other jobs. And we're doing it in the United States now, and we're working with the unions to make that happen too.
Season 3 of Bridgerton, is there anything you can tell us? Any little nugget at all?
Everybody asked me. You know how I am about spoilers. So I'll say it's sexy and witty and very interesting because Penelope is a woman who works. She has a job. And so it's interesting to see how that plays into her storyline.
And when can we expect that?
There's not a release date yet,
Okay.
but it's coming
Soon.
At some point. I hope so.
So obviously we started with Queen Charlotte. Any other planned spin-offs going forward?
Right now, no. I don't
Okay.
have one. I've considered Violet because I think she's very interesting. But no, at this point, I don't have plans for it. I just wanted to tell this story.
What's your advice for people who are aspiring to be the next Shonda Rhimes? And I'm curious also if that advice would differ for people of color.
Oh, interesting. Well, first I say you don't want to be the next Shonda Rhimes. You want to be the next you, because I think that that's the way to go. And also I think if you're a writer and you are writing every day and you are very determined, then you need to keep your eye on the prize. Like, just move forward. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be disappointments. But I always say, if you're in the room, you're there because you belong in that room. So own whatever room you're in.
I don't mind. I wouldn't mind being the next Shonda Rhimes. So thanks to Linsey for that story.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.